Hello, everyone. Welcome back to S Rank, the only home of video games. My name is Ethan, and we're doing another stream. We're doing another thing, doing a whole bunch of stuff. I am still grieving at the potential, rather likely scenario that my launch PS3 is dead. Although, like I mentioned last time, we will be attempting to hashtag save the PS3 on a stream next week. The same thermal paste I used 4 years ago on the machine arrived in the mail yesterday, so I am prepped. I also bought, which I did not have at the time, I also bought one of these electric air dusters. It came with a whole bunch of different attachments. This thing gets loud and impactful, so I'm excited to use it. It'll probably blow out the microphone while we're using it, but yeah, that's next week. I also have off of work the next couple weeks, so there's going to be a lot more of this stuff going on here. Today is another retro achievement stream, so I'm new to this stuff, this retro achievement shenanigans. I made my account earlier this year, and we've only done a couple of these streams. Last one we did was a trio of NES games, and that's what's going on. There's like this noise, this sound effect going on, and I don't know if you can hear it unless I'm speaking. It's this Vita. Though I joined this wake up club thing because there's trophies for it and the thing, and I left the alarms for 4 and 5 p.m. And I feel like an idiot for constantly leaving that on. I'm like, what was that sound? Is there an ice cream truck out outside? Anyway, since we did that last Retro Achievements stream where we played 3 NES games, I received in the mail, I purchased from Epilogue, a Romanian company, as far as the bottom of this device is led me to believe, the GB Operator. This is essentially a Game Boy Advance cartridge slot with a USB cable. It's plugged into the PC right now. It's going all the way up there. And so, yeah, with the emulator, which you're kind of seeing on screen here, where I'm able to put in any cartridge I want from Game Boy, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance. It basically, my understanding of how it works, it is pulling kind of like maybe those old Atari flashback consoles or the Hyperkin, like 5 game consoles in one thing. You can plug in 5 NES, Super Nintendo, Nintendo 64, Game Boy game, whatever. Genesis. What I believe this works like those did, where it rips the ROM and then runs it on storage through the emulator. That's what I'm pretty sure that this does. However, this has the backup option where you can back up your ROMs, and I love that. It is not super easy for folks to legally back up their own video games that they own. It is not super easy for someone to take a non-disc video game and back it up on their computer. And the more devices that are like this out there for as many video game consoles that exist, the better a chance folks have, whether it be in preservationist, shut up, PlayStation Vita, whether it be a preservationist kind of standpoint or just you're a guy with a bunch of ROMs on your computer, you have a better leg to stand on. We, as a whole, have a better leg to stand on when it comes to like folks like Nintendo and whatnot being like, well, you have ROMs on your computer, therefore you stole them. Your Switch, like imagine if a device like this for the Switch was out, where, hey, you can legally back up your own Switch cartridge on your computer, which is something by the law you are legally able to do. That would then mean that, like, Nintendo can't really, they've gone after people that have had ROMs on their computer and whatnot like that. And, like, for the most part, those people are idiots, and they did, steal these, but you can also go through the hassle of jailbreaking a Switch and then USB to computer and backing up that way. Devices like this that literally let me just take my game, take this cartridge, and just ka-chunk it straight into here, are nice. And then it pops right up there. It's recognizing, because it's basically basing this off of the repository that you might see in various places. And when you go to back up the game, it happens to name the file and the folder in the same manner that you might find perhaps the same thing elsewhere. So it knows how to do that. And you can also back up your save files on the computer and then write those save files on the cartridge, which is super neat. Any case, I have not a crazy amount of Game Boy Color, and Game Boy Advance games, but I have the ones that I had when I was a kid, and ones I got randomly when I was in my younger 20s. Just being like, I have money, I have a job, I want to buy random video games. And isn't it funny that they made Nicktoons Game Boy Advance cartridges where you can watch an episode of SpongeBob and like Rugrats, an entire cartridge? I have like 5 of these. I went and bought a bunch of stuff. But anyway, the main key games I had as a kid, I'm super excited to be able to actually take those real cartridges. Again, this is on this actual device, and we're going to be able to get retro achievements in them. I booted this up the other day and found a save file I'm kind of proud of. And so I have a couple retro achievements already that are beating the game. 2 versions of beating the game. I wonder how the site, like, how users of the site kind of treat that kind of discrepancy. Because, yeah, you can take a save file that is before you were playing it in an emulator with the retro achievements, and they see you beat the game and you didn't get like the very first, progression kind of achievement. How does that work for these folks? I'm just curious to see how this will affect like nostalgia and whatnot. Again, I love this device from what I've played. I backed up all of my cartridges on here. I have a folder that's literally called cartridge backups, and it's very cool to be able to have all that stuff. And it makes me want to go and buy a bunch of new, not new, but like a bunch more, Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color even, video games. I would love to get a Metal Gear Ghost Babel, or Babel, whatever it's called. So, yeah, I'm trying to think anything else in this rigmarole here before we begin. Yes, this is, it's got save files from over for 20 years ago. This game came out in 2002. I probably got it in like 2004. So I got, the day this came out, Metroid Prime had come out, and I got Metroid Prime pretty much when it came out, but I got Metroid Zero Mission before owning Fusion. So that was 04, so I probably got this shortly afterwards in 04, maybe early 05. So, but I love this game, and it's great. So we're gonna open it up. There's also, we can pop up the achievements right here, right in the kind of program. Just super neat. There are a bunch of shaders, video shaders. Some of them are neat, some not as much. We're gonna rock just raw pixels. It takes a second. This thing I noticed cut out randomly. All right. Let's begin. Let me double check if the controls are okay. I'm using a PlayStation controller, but they're using X input essentially, default. So this is Xbox stuff. So A is on the X button, B is on the square button. That's what that is. So yeah. Super cool. Give it a second. But it's weird that OBS is like blanking out this video element that you're seeing over there. It's very weird because it is just a screen capture. It is just the entire monitor. So I don't know. Very weird. All right. One thing I did turn on as far as colors are concerned is an approximation of how the colors actually looked on the GBA's LCD screen. Let's turn. It's quieter mainly, but I think the idea is that some of the lows are blasted a little bit louder when you're just going off of your Game Boy Advance's little speakers there. One thing too I learned, the Japanese version of this game came out many months later in the following year in 2003, and added a hard mode in there, which is cool. Metroid Zero Mission had a hard mode, and I loved that challenge as a child. And what else? It added a bunch more like ending prerequisites for like the victory screens. Which I saw all of those online. I assumed that they were in this, and I just wasn't good enough. Although, I almost beat this under 2 hours, getting a lot of stuff, apparently, as a kid. 2 hours, 3 minutes. This is saved. This is like the last save spot you can save as before beating the game. So, yeah, but I don't know. I played this game and Metroid Zero Mission all the time as a child, and I would just replay them over and over again. We're gonna delete this save, unfortunately. And we're gonna begin. I actually did back up this this cartridge's save file before we did any of this, so I guess I could redo that save if I really wanted. Yeah, it was Metroid Zero Mission that I understood. I actually learned myself that the game encouraged sequence breaking, because I found that, you know, having 100% of the game and finding all of the missiles and super missiles and energy tanks, that there was a super missile that you could get well before you got it from that boss fight. And then that kind of broke my brain to be like, okay, well then you don't need to do that boss fight, because you have super missiles already, you can skip around it. And then you're going into... So as a kid, I got into speed running these two games. Even though this game you can't really sequence... It's not designed for sequence breaking. This game and Metroid Zero Mission, they handle their item acquisitions a little bit differently. In Metroid Zero Mission, you can skip almost everything in the game. 7% of the total items is the minimum that you can get. And that percentage includes the Morph Ball and the Varia suit and all of those actual core things. Whereas this game, that percentage is just the extra ammo, extra energy tanks stuff. Because you can't skip any of this stuff. And on the Wii U Virtual Console, I did a 7% run of Zero Mission on... Maybe not on hard. I don't think it was on hard, because it was my first attempt. And I got stuck on Ridley. I just could not beat him with one energy tank and 5 missiles. Now, there are achievements in this... There are retro achievements made for this game that are essentially boils down to collect everything and beat the game in under 2 hours. And... not knowing the strategies or anything like that. As a kid, when you saw my save file there, I forget what my item collection percentage was when I booted up the save file and just beat the game the other day. But I got as many as I could as fast as I could, and it was a lot of stuff there. So I'm interested in also learning how you actually go about doing this under 2 hours. We're going to play the game generally fast. We're going to play through this game multiple times. It's been years since I played this, like, for real all the way through. So, I'm not going to remember where every item is. There's going to be moments where I'm like, oh yeah, there's one, like, here, right? There's something, like, here. So, the plan for playing through all of this is just a casual playthrough. Really quick, I guess. Trying to definitely... there are retro achievements in this for every boss fight. One for every boss fight, but beating them without taking any damage. We're going to go for those. There's also a couple of those timer countdown sequences in the game before the ending. So the one where you need to turn on the cooling and you fight a human scientist X thing. And then there was in the secret laboratory when that is about to detach and break away. There's retro achievements for beating times on those. I don't know how easy those are going to be. We're going to give them a shot. So casual playthrough first. We will collect everything. And this will be something I probably will stream multiple times. This game in particular. For this whole retro achievement kind of series, I guess, on S-Rank here. It's more of a survey. You know, we did those 3 NES games, Balloon Fight, Clue Clue Land, and Mario Bros. Not Super, but Mario Bros. The arcade game. The NES versions of those games. We're not going back to those. Those were just a survey. And there's going to be a lot of games that are like that, but like some of these that I know really well, like, yeah, Mario 64, we're going to beat that game. It's not going to be in one sitting. We're going to beat that game. So same thing for this. We're going to return. It'll be spaced out, but again, I got the next 2 weeks off. Starting Monday, I'm a free man for 2 weeks, unless something changes. So, more frequent streams. We might do one of these next week as well, is my point. Longer intro here. I wonder if in that Japanese version, granted it would be in Japanese, not English, if this kind of text, I wouldn't call it a bug. I loved this pan up. Thought that was cool. Cool reveal of the suit, even though it's on the box art. Looking at the text down here, do any of these letters? Yes, that letter M in me, and there's a W that did it earlier. I think just how the letters M and W work. In this font, you don't see that black stroke of pixels on the left-hand side of the letter M. I always wondered if that is a bug. So maybe that Japanese version fixed it. And I mean, looking at the front label of my cartridge, this isn't a revision. This is the 1.0 build of the cartridge, so maybe they fixed it in a later version there. I don't think I read reviews contemporarily, at the time of this game coming out, because I feel like I started to pay attention to that stuff in like 2009, 2010 on the internet, and when people talked about this game, they were like, oh, it's so talky, and they just tell you what to do all the time, and it's very easy to there's the lazy version of that is the woman talks too much. They don't like that Samus talks in this game, and I find that kind of weird. See, the letter M is like that here, so it is just the way that text set is. But it's also the computer talking to you, and I think generally the respectful version of that argument that the game talks too much is more to the fact that you cannot explore freely. It is more mission structured of like, you're going into this smaller map. You have an objective here. You don't get to leave. I don't remember. But like generally, you're not leaving here until you do that thing and leave. And okay, now you have your next objective. And the fact that you can't sequence break it, there's glitches. But like Super Metroid and Metroid Zero Mission, which would come after this, are designed to be sequence breaked. Like through the nature of how that game works, they like did that. And there's footage of developers celebrating the launch of Zero Mission doing what people assumed was too hard of a boss trick to do for it to be intentionally able to be done. So these devs know, and I don't know, like, people always talked about, like, this game talks too much, blah, 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 but, like, it was neat to me that this had a story. I don't know, like, even there's some sequences like this where Samus is thinking to herself, and it's more of a monologue or a narration to you, the player, and, like, that's a character that has things to say. Like, I don't know. One of these days, I've had this video idea in my head for a couple of years now. One of these days, I'll actually film it and put it together. But when Metroid Dread was coming out, I replayed all of the non-Metroid Prime games in release order. And while I don't really like the video game play and the overall package of Metroid Other M, I do think people are way too hard on what that game's story is, and I think that there's a bit of a when people complain about that game's story, just the story, and just setting aside the whole you don't get to use the items until I tell you to, that's how you unlock them thing, putting that aside, just the overall story, I feel like people were not video gamers, generally video gamers, did not have that media literacy for stories. Like, when The Last of Us comes out 3 years later and people are like, this is the greatest video game story ever. It's a video game that wants to tell you its theme, and it just shoves it in your face. Like, you cannot escape what The Last of Us wants you to think and feel. And that is why it takes that much effort for folks to get what The Last of Us wants to say. And then that's why it is so more commonly understood as a game with a story. Metroid Other M has a moment where Samus has a not nervous, just a panic attack. Not in like the weird way some folks, maybe Tumblr-esque kind of way people get with like animated movies or whatever with panic attacks, but like Ridley appears and people are like, oh, she's just scared. Why are they reduced? Like, there's a moment that's an attempt to have like a character that has like thoughts and feelings and like emotion and, you know, an experienced history. So I think that game came way too soon, and I feel like audiences were too immature to accept Metroid Other M. Maybe that'll be the title of that video. We were too immature to accept Metroid Other M. Otherwise, one more clickbaity title for that video would be we were wrong about Metroid Other M. Gameplay wise, I think it's okay. The idea of an action Metroid game in 3D made by the folks that made Ninja Gaiden 2 on the Xbox 360. That is an awesome slam dunk of a pitch. Didn't land very well. And that action is a very key thing that people, I don't think that they forget. I don't think they forget that part. But when they talk about, when folks online want to talk about Metroidvanias as a genre, obviously those two tentpoles, Super Metroid, Castlevania Symphony of the Night, that's where the name comes from, is those two games specifically. But the general idea when you say a Metroidvania, and the assumption is a 2D game, because a lot of them are, majority of them are, especially when they want to call themselves that, the general kind of focus people give to that genre when they talk about it is the exploration element, the item acquisition element, the search action kind of element, the search part of search action. It is discovering new abilities, taking down bosses, and, oh, there's a dead end, but like I know if I come back, I'll get, you know, that whole thing. But that's where that conversation leads to and ends when people talk about Metroidvanias. People don't really talk that much or really put at the forefront of that conversation about that genre the action part of it. Symphony of the Night has fighting game combos for its special moves, or special inputs rather, for its magic attacks, and that's a very technical side-scrolling action game. And this game and Metroid Zero Mission are fast-paced, side-scrolling action shooters. I would go as far as to say that is the primary genre I would put these video games in. This game here and Metroid Zero Mission are side-scrolling action shooters. They are fast-paced because they can be fast-paced. People kind of forget that stuff. When you see a lot of these, and so many indie games come out that are Metroidvania focused, and like whether that was in that kind of like, hey, no one makes these, we're making these. It's Axiom Verge, it's Guacamelee, it's all these, and the nowadays stuff where there's so many of them that it's easy for them to be feel like they're route and like too commonplace. But regardless, great games overall. I loved Axiom Verge, and I never finished it. I want to go back and finish it. My thing that I feel like is lost, whether it was intentional or not, but one thing that is lost is that these games tend to be slower and more focused on the search, not the action. That's why I was so elated, so surprised. Might be one of the first times in my adult life that I was actually shocked and surprised how well the new thing of a series I loved turned out to be was with Metroid Dread. I know we haven't started this game yet. I'm going on a monologue here, but when that game came out and I played it, yeah, I did play the 3DS game made by Mercury Steam earlier, and that game was slow and it was a bad. The bones of what they were told to do were sour. They were brittle. They did the best what they could, but Playing Metroid Dread, I was like, oh, these fuckers get it. They get it. Metroid Dread was a fast-paced, side-scrolling action shooter. That was an action game, first and foremost. Action game first and foremost. And then because of the awesome Metroidvania-esque world and item acquisition and discoverability, that elevates that game even further. You can have a very dense map filled with cool platforming and secrets and clever ways to reinvent keys and gates with items and weapons, and and in the case of Metroid, most of your tools for unlocking things are weapons as well. Most of them serve dual purposes. You can make all that stuff, but if the gameplay itself isn't that exciting, you have a maze, and mazes are fun, but it's not the same. There's a reason why people hold like this game and Metroid Zero Mission and Metroid and Super Metroid as well. It's not quite at the pace and speed of the GBA games, but there's a reason why people hold those games, these two games, and Symphony of the Night up to a high regard. It's because they're fun as fuck to play. You can make this a side-scrolling action game, like Brett in the chat here says Contra. You could turn this into you could turn this video game right here into a side-scroller, level-based Contra-like level setup, where there's just dudes coming in, and it would feel fun as fuck to play that on its own. And in addition to that style of gameplay, you have this cool world to explore, items, mystery, secrets, not realizing, oh, I could go here, like that type of stuff. And Metroid Zero Mission elevates that even further with all the sequence breaking that is built into how that game's designed. And you have an excellent video game. There's not that many of the indie Metroidvanias that reach this level. So yeah, that is my long spiel before we play this game. We're gonna hop in here. Like I said, this is gonna be more of a casual playthrough. We're gonna collect everything. I'm not necessarily focused on speed, but then we'll probably do one after this that is just straight up speed. I want to get sub 2 hours. Like you saw at the beginning, I have that save file from 20 years ago where I have saved at the last save spot in the game right before the final sequence, and I'm 2 hours and 3 minutes. So sub 2 hours is possible. Are you going for the platinum? Yeah. In this game, absolutely. This makes me want to import a Japanese copy of the game, of a cartridge, because there's a second retro achievement set for the Japanese version because it has a hard mode in it. I own Metroid Zero Mission, complete in box. Actually, I'm going to go grab it. Hold on. I own the Japanese version. Give me a second here. I should have brought this over to the desk, knowing I wanted to talk about it, but I forgot. Literally sitting across the room. I had got this off of eBay. I believe the camera is flipped, but I got this complete in box. It's not in a mint condition, but it's in pretty decently held together, put together box. It's got everything in it, the cartridge and all that. I bought this. I forgot when I looked. I think it was like 2019 on eBay because I looked at the listing recently. Bought it on eBay for $38. Now it's like $150 on eBay. And unfortunately, Metroid Fusion is up there as well. So I don't know if I'll be buying it the same way I bought this one. Maybe if I ever go to Japan, I'll see if I can grab a copy. I have an original Metroid complete in box. Maybe I don't have the manual. I don't really know. All right. Oh, I wonder if I can... There is... Maybe options were on main menu. Text speed. I mean, just... I'm not turbo buttoning. That's how fast you can shoot. It's just neat. The whole, like, holding L to do the angles. Like, that's just neat. The whole, like, everything about how this game was put together is just so well done. Just at the feel of it is so well done. And yes, you can wall jump, secret tech. I believe these require bombs or speed booster. This is the end of it. There's a navigation room. It's where the game kind of locks you in place and tells you what's going on. When Metroid Dread came out and they have this computer character and these rooms in there, I love the effect, by the way. It was like an orb digitized, breaking apart with like the voice, which is cool. But they made an effort to be like, don't worry, it's not going to talk too much. Like, the complaints from 20 years ago don't matter. Like, people are more mature. They can accept a game with a cool story. I don't know. But I haven't played Metroid Dread since it had come out. Man, they fucking nailed that game. It was awesome. I gotta do another playthrough of that game. I gotta do another playthrough. I remember actually, I wonder how it looks on the Switch too. They should, if there's a patch for it, because when I saw that article being like, man, this game looks great in 4K at 120 frames per second on an emulator, I'm like, fuck. I would love to jailbreak my Switch and run this in the now defunct emulator, Yuzu. But oh no, our suit parts were in this box supposedly. And it looks like it blew open. This is one of those obvious, very obvious first gates, so to speak. You get the morph ball, then you get to leave. There's a, I forget which exact grid space, but there's a spot in there, and obviously you can go in there for, I think it's just a missile. There's no power locked to the doors. Oh, one thing about the achievement set made me learn about this game, which is incredible. There's a sequence in Sector 4, which is the second, so there are 6 sectors in the game, and then there's this main area, and then there's a couple others, but you go to each sector twice in the story, and the second time is always a changed version, like something happens to it for the most part. Not really the first one, you kind of exit through the first one. And your second attempt is more of a, I showed up here, now I gotta just get out. But, Sector 4, second sequence, entirely underwater. And, using the shine sparking and the speed boosters, using all that very specific tech, you can make your way all the way around to a spot where you would normally get to much later, and the game has a congratulation message where the computer talks to you, or I watched a video of it. I'm like, oh my god, I didn't know this was a thing, but it works out that way. There's an achievement for doing that, so probably not on this playthrough, but we are 100% going to do that. I loved this visual as a kid because I'm like, this looks so weird, like the little X up there, and how it zoomed out, it looks almost like a 3D model, that's being rendered. And now as an adult, I'm like, oh yeah, that was a 3D model that was rendered, and then they did the Donkey Kong Country thing, they did the Mortal Kombat thing. That's why it looks that like fluid. I just love, I don't know, the look of this game. Yep, we're heading there. We're gonna get the morph ball. We're gonna fight that boss. Fortunately, they put a save room right before it. I love the look of this room. So many moving parts going on here. Really makes the whole place feel alive. It's just a cool video game. Love this music. These are level 2 locks. You can tell they're level 2 locks because they're green. Our first save room. I love too that this game made them a floating thing and not just like the glass tube that Super Metroid kind of did. I love these are zombies and the X just takes them over. But it's supposed to be that dude down there. Missile lock here. This is an organism you need to kill with a missile. That's their way of preventing you from going down in there. And so, like, yes, you know, I can understand reading online complaints that the game talks too much and then booting the game up yourself on your Game Boy Advance and reaching these rooms here and just finding so much, oh, I just want to play, I just want to go. Like, the game doesn't really do it that much. It's just the fact that the game is really good paced for a short video game, like in a good way. The fact that you can do it in under 2 hours, if you know what the hell you're doing, is awesome. To me, I don't know. I also don't want super long video games. Elevator here. Love the design of the suit. You have one of the final bosses in this room. Yeah, but you can't, go back around. It's not quite like what Super Metroid is. I love the look of this, too. Like, something about, the specific, like, green, not hexagon, but, like, stretched hexagon and the blue lines around it, the way that looks, it has such a, like, heart container in a 3D Zelda game type of feel of like awesome, like this is such a good thing. You can see I got an achievement up there. We'll get notifications. We'll get notifications. Our gun opens up more to reveal that we can shoot missiles. You can see up there, it turns yellow. They give you 10 right away, which is nice. I believe Zero Mission gives you just 5. Oh no, what's going on? Hey, that's where you said all the X were locating. I do want to go in here because I just want to fill in the map spaces. Probably not going to return until the boss fight that's in this room. Ah, I've tried to wall jump off of that. Oh, but I can blow that open and then stand in there. Because that's what they want you to do. I want to get that top corner. It sounds so stupid to say, but there we go. Yeah, and they make this glow red so that you see it, you know. Oh no, my shots. 2, 3. And then green X are missile recharging dudes. These zombies act as early constant supplies of missiles and energy, I guess, but missiles mainly. This always did confuse me as a kid, because I remember being like, how is she climbing with the gun arm? How are you climbing? You know what I mean? First missile. There'd be a couple of missile enemies where, like, you go to pick it up and actually it's an enemy, and the real missile is hidden in like a block right behind it. So using wall jumps, we can kind of scale back up, but there's they have those crumble blocks that prevent you from doing that. Then we could pause, look at the map, like, oh, okay. What if I go this way? Oh. Hidden thing right there. So yeah, we are gonna 100% the game. I believe you can't walk through this, right? Yeah, because the pipes and cabling. Alright, we're gonna save. And the goal is to beat every boss in this game without getting hit. I haven't practiced this at all. Right. Oops. Oops. Well, you get a red one for killing this, which should refill us. Missed. So yellow is health, green is ammo, red is both and a lot. You can avoid that if you really choose. And there are, you know, low percent runs of the game, of this game I've seen. If I'm not mistaken, there's a way to go up for like a power bomb. Probably takes a power bomb. What if I don't want to go down there? All right. Oh. Oops. Oh, I got hit. Damn. I hit twice. Or does it not count? Let's see. No. Alright, well, man, I'm tempted just to restart. The hell? Oh, as soon as I mess with this, we're gonna restart. Not the whole thing from our save. I could beat that boss without getting it. Wow, 3 in a row. Oh, I got hit anyway. Damn it. Whatever, we'll just rock with it. I don't want to keep restarting. This is a casual playthrough. This is a casual. We'll do another run when we go to do a fast, I guess. We'll do it without, because like some of the bosses, like Ceres, the electric eel snake thing that gives you the speed booster, he's very tough to not ever get hit with. Now we have the morph ball and we can do stuff like this. Was never that big of a fan of this game having the morph ball constantly be rolling in place. And there's an up and down motion to it that I don't like, but I understand that that is done. And that is done so that you don't lose track of it on the screen. Alright, we got our thingy. Oh, we can go and, oops. Oh, unlocked a reload station. That's right. Great. So we have missiles now, we have the morph ball now. We can head to the main deck. Or we are in the main deck, but we can head to the main elevator shaft. And to go to Sector 1 to do that whole song and dance. Is this? Yep. That high temperature room that Ridley is in. Ridley's body. So now we can go under here. And they made this a very memorable, you know, obstacle so that you remember, and then you... That's the whole Metroidvania thing, right? We're gonna go down this elevator, and something's gonna happen. What? Is that us? Scary. They really should have made super missiles work like that in this game. I love that they let you know that you can hear it. It happened just above you. And... oh yeah, the elevator. Yeah, because they don't want you to go back up and stumble into it, right? They purposely give you a reason why you can't. But yeah, the place we need to go is lit up. And the security locks prevent us from going too far. So now we get the map and lowdown of what we're supposed to do here. Which, if you guys watched Devin and I's stream of doing retro roulette in Hawk, where it would randomly swap between 10 games I loaded up in a folder, this is what we did for this segment. Played Metroid Fusion as one of those 10 games, and it was going through this area. It was also cool when the X showed back up in Metroid Dread. Like, it made sense. It made sense. I gotta replay that game. I gotta get a Switch 2 first. Alright. So, oh no, Blue, we'll be unlocking that gate, if not in this sector, then the sector after. I don't actually remember. Oh, I love these dudes. I love that they can just combine into bigger ones. Little Easter egg there, you can see, so you see this vent moving up and down, there's trash around it. Look at what's in the top left corner of that trash. It's a GameCube. So they made it so this thing is just producing X over and over again. And it's kind of guiding you a little bit at the beginning here. We weren't allowed to leave that room until we did the thing. Don't spit at me. We go down here, get this energy tank. They signpost it. I destroyed the thing that was here, but they signpost it very easily. They basically let you know, hey, it's time to start looking around. You're gonna be finding stuff if you pay attention. I believe this material is screw attack destructible. Alright, we hear that sound again. We know what it means. These are crumble blocks, so we want to jump over them. And the mist fog, or mist clears. Right, and then they produced into space pirates, or Zabesians. This was always neat, just their lava, although this room isn't super heated. And I'm trying to remember, because there's more to this room, obviously, and there's at least one other thing, but I don't remember exactly where it is. Point being is that one of the cool things Super Metroid did, and Metroid Zero Mission does as well, is we'll have these side rooms that'll be super heated. Hey, you get the Varia suit, you know, then you can go through it. And there's usually, you know, items in there or whatever. But before you get the Varia suit, it is still possible to run through and do the thing. You're taking damage the whole way. And they have the lava here as kind of doing something like that. But I don't remember if you could actually get anything by jumping down there this early. Oops. That's right, missiles. Well, we're just gonna fall. Reminiscent of an early room in Super Metroid. You are slow in the water. Falling down here just so we can get that map grid. But they really want you to climb and hang. And now, granted, yes, whenever you're stationary, she's hanging by the one hand that she has access to in the suit. She does have the other hand. It's inside the gun. I wonder, how is she monkey barring? You know what I mean? How are you doing that? Ah, there we go. You can see him jumping around in the background too, which is kind of neat. Destroyable with screw attack because you come up that way, basically at the end of the game. Can't go in there yet. We could run in here now. So, you know, you defeat an enemy, it produces an X, and then you can jump into that and collect it. After a while, they do leave the screen, which is a little annoying if you're not super good at the game and you're trying to, like, heal. But there are some specific enemies that when destroyed, and when I say specific, I don't mean like an enemy type, I mean like it could be that one specific jumping frog dude. But there's specific enemies that when you defeat them, the X will be flashing and you can't actually collide with it, and will fly to a spot and turn into a different creature. And so there are some neat puzzle-like encounters. That use that kind of mechanic. One-way gate. When you get the wave beam, they won't be an issue. See, that's an example of one of them right there. Both of them, actually. Okay, there's a boss behind that door. There's also an item back here that we cannot get to yet. I believe speed booster, because I think you can get the sprint through those. There's a save room beyond here. Alright. This is the charge beam boss. They're like, oh, cool, it's like the traditional Chozo thing, and then I'm just gonna go jump and wait. What? I got hit there because I didn't give myself any room. I always like the way these look, too. Which, by the way, these are the X that give you powers. So they're more elaborate and big. Now we have a charge beam, so I will be holding charge a lot, just out of habit. One neat little thing that is a tech, I guess I would say. You know, later in the game, you get the screw attack, which means when you do this, you are invincible, honestly. I think you can still get shot, but like you just destroy every enemy you collide with. If you are fully charged and you do this, it does do damage, but it expends the charged shot. And the charge beam widened our shot. It is now 2 shots. Now, there's a thing on the ceiling. That's weird. Why would I do this? And maybe look at this side of the screen here and you kind of follow this grid space over, and you do see those blocks a little bit more than you might normally. Just neat little level design stuff. Subtle level design. Now, the thing hanging from the ceiling, not as much of subtlety, because what else would you use that for? But just the way that those blocks were presented was subtle. It draws you to them without looking out of place. Oh no, how are we gonna get that one? Nice. So we don't have the ability to jump with the morph ball. You get that later. And with bombs you can also do the whole bomb trick stuff, but you can still fall into morph ball state from a jump. So you can, you know, get into some gaps early on by doing some of that stuff. How much of that in this game you can abuse, I don't remember, but save room here, and there is a hidden room right beyond it. But again, this is the less subtle, like, hey, look, if you played a Zelda game as a kid, or back then, I guess, gee, that looks like you could bomb that wall, or just blow it up. But oh man, I can't jump into it. Well, you just do that. And then you're like, well, I can't get up. There is the space jump, which you do get at the midpoint of this game, which is cool. Versus like Super Metroid was later. And I'm messing up because I'm using a DualSense wireless controller. D-pad on that is great, but it doesn't feel the same as the clickiness of the GBA-SP I played this game on. Where it feels there's less travel time in pressing the button down. If that makes sense. It'd be cool if there'd be a way to like take one of those retro clone handhelds that are meant to look like the Game Boy Advance and Game Boys and whatnot, and use them as a controller, because there is one that is the GBA-SP design that would love to like plug that into my computer and use it as a controller to play those games. Because this game, I don't know, nostalgia tells me it must be played on those very shallow buttons. Alright, so we came when we did the thing that we were meant to do here. So now we kind of leave. That's kind of the structure of how this game works. Now, there's a lot more to explore in here. And like I said, they make you revisit each of these sectors a second time throughout the main story of the game. But there's also, like, weird hidden paths between sectors. Like, they all neighbor each other in a ring in the 3D space of how the space station works. And so, like, this one connects to Sector 3 on the left and 2 on the right, I think. And in that lava, I think, yes, because in that lava section, actually, so, like, you see, we're going to pass up that blue door, is a vertical shaft, and you can go down at the bottom, you can go into the lower section of that lava area. In there, on that vertical room, is the connector to Sector 3, which is a lava and heat-based environment. I never understood as a kid as to why they were there, because for me back then, the only way you could ever reach these was with endgame items anyway, so you're not doing things faster, because again, I had played Metroid Zero Mission and discovered its sequence breakingness, and you couldn't apply that to this game without glitches. I don't think we need to recharge anything, right? We might as well save. And then you get the debriefing segment here. I do like that they within the fiction of how this game works, you know, you don't you can't just call up the computer on the radio. You know, the computer is on your ship, and he's interfacing with the computers and this, but he can only talk to on these rooms. He's not, like, in your ear, Solid Snake-like. Whether or not that might be better or not, I don't know, but it's neat that they went this route. Sorry, a little tired. Had only about 6 hours of sleep last night. Oh no, we can't go that way, but that's okay because Sector 2 is unlocked. Now Sector 4, that is locked. This one is it's TRO, Sector 2 TRO, which is tropical. More humid, jungle-y like environments. All while still built in a space station, which is cool. It's not like the other 3 games were all on planets, you know? And so, you know, I know I skipped through all that because whatever, but they're alluding to the fact that there's going to be segments in this game where you'll enter a room and the thing will be in there, and you just need to get the fuck out, or pseudo stealth, you know, which is cool. I never liked these weird worm dudes. Here's a dead end until later because it's got these stupid things, and oh, you can't get over this one. Just so annoying. You can get over this one. This is blocked. I believe that you end up going down here after you unlock the level 1 hatches, right? Ouch. You can bomb that. Ouch. That's right, because you bomb both of those. I think I never liked them because they take too many hits to kill. And they're always, like, on the walls in the way, and, you know, when you revisit, they're all in cocooned forms or are emerging from a cocoon state as really annoying flying guys, and it's all really well done, honestly. Very resilient giant caterpillars. Alright, we are about to unlock the level 1 security. I like this room as well, how these are designed. How that effect is done. So yeah, that was an achievement. This block right here is destroyable with a bomb. It's also destroyable with a bomb. It's a crumble block. I forgot I had charge beam. I will not lie. Cool. Press the B button. So you can use this to do jumps. And I believe the rhythm to do the end, because there's only 4 bombs you can place at once before they explode. I believe the rhythm was like this. I'm forgetting what the rhythm was for bomb jumps. I don't remember. We don't need it, but it's fun. I love you can hear the thing. It just blew something up and started walking. Oh no! I always instinctually morph ball when I lay a bomb because it pops you up, which that's time. That's time, baby. Wasting time. I was gonna say I don't remember anything being beyond that, although there are rooms like that where like there was a hidden room beyond this wall. And behind that room is another hidden room, like that neat aspect. This is weird. So, subtly, all the floor is made out of is 2-block wide things except that one spot. Just subtly pointing to the fact that that's where the thing is. Even though you could just roll around on the ground. You know what I mean? And just lay bombs. I believe that takes you back up, right? No? Isn't there... I am mistaken. If you're quick enough, you can grab onto, the blue ones, I believe, speed up when they're damaged, right? Yeah. Ah! But then they give you a red dude. Wasn't there... Yeah, there was something down here. Gotta make sure we fill out the map. These dudes. I don't like these dudes. Forget where it is. That room, or part of the room, screen, I guess, is kind of meant to just force you to be like, there'll be moments where the answer is just start bombing. Like, there is no obvious answer. I believe you go down here, right? No, it's another room. Is this a save room? No. Is this the save room? We're gonna see that room in a second. the save room. This is the fishies. And sometimes they'll reattach to an enemy and you get a stronger one, which I always thought was cool. Really making you slow underwater. And oh man, I just can't reach up there. What am I gonna do? Answers come back later. This save room. Yeah. You fight the dude that gives you the plasma beam, like, beyond that room. Dang. Sometimes, like I said, if you're not fast enough, they reform into new enemies. Yeah, this you blow up. I don't think we go through here. We need power bombs. This is the save room. But yeah, this game rules. They figured out a good formula effectively right away, you know? Because, you know, not a whole lot of the Super Metroid team leadership, rather, is a part of this. Gunpei Yokoi, you know, left Nintendo after the Virtual Boy and then, you know, died in a car crash? So something like that. I forget. Is there anything? Is there any other rooms? Yeah. Oh, the boss, right. This is a fun boss we're about to do. This is one of those where it's like, it's gonna be tough to be able to do without getting hit at all. You gotta shoot missiles up its inflated nonsense. Yep, and it jumps 3 times, and then on the 4th, destroys a segment or a length of it. If it does get you, you have to roll up into the bombs and do bomb stuff. Oops. I didn't get hit yet. Right? Did I not get hit yet? I know my health up there is... Is it 3? That... Wow, okay, they just clipped right through. Yeah, it gets hit anyway. There's a rhythm you can have with these things, but you have to, like, it's like a gravitational pull almost it has with you, where you can swing it around you, and I used to be really good at it. Yeah, we have the high jump now, and we have the jump ball. So now we jump higher, which is, hey, the only way to get out. And we can jump in Morph Ball. No, no. Some of these dudes are already entering pupa state. We'll go ahead and save once more. You get weapons and stuff in this game in two ways, really. It's those data download rooms, and then from the X parasites themselves, like those bosses. And so it's a cool mix of, like, knowing you're told, okay, bomb data is down here, you know, and you're going for that, and then, you know, this was unexpected. We got the high jump, and it wasn't what we were told we were going to get. I came down here just to get that map spot. Although I don't think that there's an achievement for filling out the map. And hey, now that these things are in pupa state, I wonder if we can use them as platforms. Oh no. What? Huh. Something not so subtle about the way these blocks are. There it is. It shot the door and left. You can shoot it. It does nothing to it. And then it will freeze you with the ice beam, and basically every shot is like one energy tank. Like, it will just kill you. I always liked being fast enough to jump down there, shoot it, jump back up in time, and have it just freak out and run back and forth before giving up. As a kid, I understand the whole pupa, you know, it's going to turn into this nasty bug thing. But for, like, this one here, I thought this thing was dying or dead or whatever. Instead, it's, like, more of, like, hey, it's almost ready. I thought it was like, oh, this thing is just, it's dead. Like, hey, you can stand on them now. Isn't that fun? And hey, in here now, guess what, guys? We can reach that. We're old enough to reach the monkey bars. Isn't that neat? Don't you feel like that's cool? Can't do anything about it in the water, though. Right? Yeah. Just had to double check. I know you jump higher, but I didn't know if you jumped that high. Gravity suit, obviously you can. So yeah, now you can jump on these dudes. But oh no, you can't go in there. That jackass has blocked the way. And then here's your jump ball thing, because this block up here, destroyable with bomb. Although you can bomb jump your way up there. It's a rhythm that always took me practice. Ouch. Here's a subtlety. This block up here, you can bomb it open. And they show you the highlighted pixel edge on that right side to kind of hint to you that you can go straight through it. And then we're back around here now. We've looped around. And now we can jump up here and do that. pretty neat. And the one thing about the bombs that are cool for exploration is that, say a block needs to be destroyed with a certain item or weapon or whatever, the bombs will reveal what that is. You blow up on that spot, and it'll be like, oh yeah, it's this. Which is neat. And then we're good, right? We good? Can't go that way. I didn't know if you can go in that room. Doesn't matter. We'll get it eventually. And yeah, they leave all these dudes here. They will hatch soon. Oh yeah, we can jump over this now. Oops. And this wall right here can be destroyed with screw attack, which then that leads to sector 5? They don't show you the whole sector map. Sector 6? Or is it just sector 1? I don't remember. It might be sector 1. Okay, fully reload. I call these reload rooms, but they're recharge rooms. And then upside down T and the letter O. It's language for something. So yeah, doing this game fast is fun. And just really nailing and remembering the route and what you're supposed to do, and it's cool. Elevators are weird. How does this work? Why does it work that way? Why isn't it a mechanical thing? Alright, give me the map. It's just neat to be doing this on my actual cartridge and not like, you know, I didn't need to do this. I said that because I looked down and I just see this sitting there being like, yep, that's my video game. This is a cool area. Not really much you can do in this way. You return this way, because these enemies They are impossible to defeat unless you have the diffusion upgrade to your ice missiles. Spoilers. I like the music here. I like this room too. It's kind of subtly hinting, because there's like a gold version or a yellow version of those regular crawly dudes. It's crab, sideways, these guys. I believe this is, yep, speed. You eventually lower the water. We're not going to bother going into that. And hey, you need bombs. This is subtly telling you can drop here. You kind of come back through this way. I love the puddle, the pixels worth of puddle. I believe that's a crumble block. I believe this is also a crumble block. You go down this way, but I'm doing this now because why not, I guess. Getting extra missiles. And this is a save room. I said that not 100% confident. I'm not gonna lie. But it is indeed a save room. Oops. I just assumed I killed that. I didn't even look. So because this tank here doesn't have any exposed wires in it, I always like letting them combine, because this dude's cool. They bring it back in Metroid Zero Mission. They're in Criteria. This is a cool video game. Ouch. We're not going that way. We're trying to go this way. So you can see the electric wire down there. Zapping the water. You can destroy this. We're gonna go up here first. I was like, there is something up here, and yeah. There are some blocks that are just foreground, I guess. I guess is probably the best way of saying it. Now to go further, To go further, we need to go around and destroy a thing. Oh, we just can't go up here at all. Right. I knew that this is what you need to do. I didn't know if, like, was there more we can get up there? Again, there's stuff down there. This, when you have the speed booster, you run through here and you break these blocks. And then you smile. Because then the water is lowered and you're not getting electrocuted. And you can explore more. I always remember thinking that there's something up there, but there isn't. Oh man, all this loop around and it just leads to a save room? That's lame. But wait, there's more. Of course, they telegraph that by showing on the minimap, no, you can go through that. Now, this is Ceres. This is a very tough boss to not get hit with. Oh wait. He's dead. Oh no. It's like he's not dead. The X is just taking over it. That's right. You can go around and you can get... When I said we're not going that way, oh, I should have gone that way. We'll come back for that. Now, was there something up here? I don't think so. All right, we ready? You hit it and then it goes super speed. Although I guess this is the best loop. Yeah, okay, never mind. I take it back about not getting hit because you can recognize the pattern. Stay up here until it does its up and down thing. Which is that. Let it speed up. Alright. I'm gonna log that in the memory banks. Oh, I thought that would have been enough time. A neat boss fight. So now we have the speed booster. You run fast, and then you run even faster. And then we're back here, which we can safely skip. This game just rules in every way. We're going for that energy tank. And you know, you open a door and underwater, and so then the next room through that door is going to start underwater. Basic things that make sense. Otherwise, the water would drain from one room to the other, you know. Save room here. Ouch. It's always a very satisfying feeling finding an energy tank for the first time. Here we go. If you pause like this, when you're running fast and you don't hit a wall, you stop and crouch, you're like holding all of that kinetic energy, or potential energy rather, and then you can jump and hold the direction, and it's very quick, and you'll fly in that 8-way directional. If you collide with a ramp, then you start running again. And so there are segments in which you do this a lot, and it's cool. It's such a neat thing. Both as like a part of the game, and like in speedrunning tech. But we're too slow in the water. Now we can leave. We've lowered the water, we've killed the thing. So much space we can't go to. We'll get there, don't worry. We will get there. And kind of in order to leave, we need to speed boost out of here anyway. Is it this that you can pull up? So you can do that. Didn't have enough time, otherwise we could have flown through here. And they put that there so that, yeah, you could run back and whatever, you save some time, but you do need to still run, so they've given you your one way. You know what I mean? First, granted, I guess you'd have to back up a bit, but still. Just cool. And you can do it in the ball, too. Power bombs, of course. I love that they lock the doors here because they want you to see this yellow one that is theoretically stronger. I love this tile set because it's barely used. This is supposed to be like the undamaged part. Neat. It's neat. Alright, we've been going for a couple hours. I think I want to return again, maybe next week, if not the week after, to do more, like a longer marathon of this. This is kind of, it fits into that kind of 2-hour-ish survey that I want to do with these. I've been calling these Getting Retro Achievements In, as like the series, because the idea is in this game, in that game, whatever. Yeah, we are going to return to this. I want to get all of the achievements in this game. Obviously, I do the platinum trophy stuff, and getting the platinum is getting all of the trophies, right? But for like retro achievements, it never was like, oh, I need to get them all here, because there are some lists that are just stupidly tough because the person who made them wanted them to be. So like the Super Mario Brothers one was list, whatever. Unnecessarily difficult, but I get it. How much are you gonna do? It's either too easy or too hard. I get it. But this is manageable for me, and I really love this game, so I want to do it. That's gonna do it for today. Thanks, guys, for watching. There is... What is scheduled? There's trophy hunting on Sunday. I might move that to Saturday. Heads up. Summer of PS3 again on Friday. Because we didn't do one last week. Had to move some things around. Dead Space Extraction will be this Friday on a PS3 that's been on this whole time, installing and downloading this list of games for all this stuff that I want to do. If I can't solve and fix my ECHA01 launch model PS3, which has a terabyte flash accelerated hard drive in it, with all of this stuff already on it, we're gonna have to use this other PS3. So yes, stay tuned for that. Devin and I are recording a brand new podcast soon. You will see some of that stuff soon. Be on the lookout in the next couple weeks. Thanks, guys, for watching. Take care of yourselves. And Fusion. I moved my mouse off the thing, so I couldn't click after that word, but yeah.